Welcome back. So Numsa says its suspension of officials was not unconstitutional. Numsa Second Deputy President Ruth Ntlokotse and 30 others claim they were suspended to sideline them ahead of the union's crucial National Congress. The suspended officials are now heading to court to have their suspensions lifted or have the Congress pushed back. Numsa spokesperson Phakamile Hlubi-Majola joins us now for more clarity on this issue. Ms. Hlubi-Majola, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure you would have heard that interview yesterday with Ms. Ntlokotse making a number of allegations. Let's perhaps start with her assertion that your constitution as a start does not make provision for precautionary suspension. What is the union's position on that?
Good morning, and good morning to viewers, and thank you so much for having me on your show. As Numsa, we want to just be very clear that the decisions that were taken regarding the suspension of the Second Deputy President was indeed constitutional. It was taken in a constitutional structure, which is the Special Central Committee. And we have followed all the procedures. And this is precisely what we will be doing when we go to court tomorrow. We feel that we have done all the right things, we have followed all the correct processes, and we do not at all support the allegation that is being made that we did not follow the Constitution.
All right. And then let's talk about the reasons that were furnished to her. She says that she was charged for defining herself outside of the collective, and she didn't mince her words. She went on to say this is purely because she stood for the elections at the SAFTU conference.
Yes, indeed. What the Second Deputy President has been suspended for is the fact that she acted outside of the leadership collective of Numsa. It is alleged that she is sowing disunity in the organization. That's as far as I want to go in terms of the allegations that are leveled against her. But I do also want to clear up another allegation, which unfortunately the Second Deputy President has falsely made in the media, which is the allegation that the Numsa General Secretary deposed a false affidavit to the NIC. None of that is true. And we believe that we will be making this case when we go to court tomorrow. I can share with you even the affidavit of the General Secretary so that you can read for yourself what was said there. But the allegations that are made by the Second Deputy President, unfortunately, are false.
But did she support the affidavit? Because she also alleges that another thing that has gotten her in trouble with the union is that she didn't support that affidavit insofar as the curatorship is concerned.
That is true. As we say, when we say that acted outside of the leadership collective, that's what we mean.
So in essence, what has happened here is you also subscribe to democratic centralism, that now if the collective has decided that be it heading to the SAFTU Congress, we are going with perhaps candidate number one. You expect that the body or leadership will in fact support this candidate for this particular season, and then perhaps later on at another point they would support another candidate. Essentially that's what has happened here, where she didn't decide or join the collective in some of the decisions that she made.
I think one of the things we have to say, because as I said, I don't want to go into the details of saying whether she's right or whether she's wrong. All of that will be bared out in court. But there is a principle, as you correctly point out, of democratic centralism. And any organization has the right to set down principles and standards by which members of its organizations must adhere to. And when you join an organization, you submit yourself to those principles, you submit yourself to those standards. And if you don't like those principles, you are free to leave. Because at the end of the day, those are the rules that govern that particular organization, and those rules are covered by the Constitution. And all Numsa members are subject to those very same principles and those very same rules, which are basically that if the majority takes a decision and that decision is taken within constitutional structures, whether that's the NEC or the Central Committee, those decisions are binding on all members of Numsa. And we are, all of us, going to be judged by the principles of that Constitution and those principles if we violate them. Unfortunately, it's sad that we are even having this conversation in the media, because the media is not a structure. It's not a structure. And we've seen so many people, even on Sunday, certain people making false claims and false allegations against the union, at the same time claiming that their suspension has something to do with the leadership election that's taking place next year. Next week. That's absolutely unfounded. The fact of the matter is that the media is not a structure. To come to the media and to speak on eNCA is not going to change your conditions. There is a disciplinary process, and we call on comrades to respect the disciplinary process that the union has, and to make their debates within that process and within those recognized structures.
But it allows, at least coming to the media, allows for a broader discussion, because you will have individuals that find themselves in the same position, be it from another union, where if there's a debate around defining yourself outside of a structure, these could possibly be the outcomes. Now she's going to court. And when we see these matters ventilated in court, we all watch with keen interest, because these are precedent-setting cases at times, so others learn from what they hear. So it is a vital platform for them to come to. We invite Numsa as well, like you state, that your position is do not define yourself outside the structure. So I wouldn't necessarily agree that it's so wrong to come to the media, but I do appreciate that as a union, you would have loved to perhaps deal with your matters privately and allow the courts to ventilate this matter. But just in closing, did the Secretary General congratulate Ms. Ntlokotse? Because she says she was congratulated, so she was unaware or surprised when she was suspended.
As I said, I'm not going to argue that on this platform. We are going to court tomorrow. This is actually the third attempt through a legal process. Certainly in the case of the other suspended officials, this would be their third attempt to go to court to try and have their suspensions rescinded. So we will go to court. We will see what the court has to say. As Numsa, we are fully prepared to defend the decisions that we've taken constitutionally and democratically in our structures.
All right. Ms. Phakamile, thank you very much for your time. That was Numsa spokesperson Phakamile Hlubi-Majola.